climate change is making extreme cold upwellings more common in certain regions of the world, and these events can be catastrophic for animals such as bull sharks. A climate-disrupted ocean is pushing sharks, rays, and other species to flee ever hotter water in the tropics, only for them to be killed by increasingly intense upwells of cold water from the depths. Upwellings of cold water from the deep sea to the surface can be deadly for marine animals, and such events are increasing in frequency due to climate change, shifts in ocean currents, and pressure systems driven by climate breakdown were increasing the frequency and intensity of upwellings, which may in turn increase the vulnerability of migratory species. In March 2021, hundreds of fish and shellfish, as well as squid, octopuses, manta rays, and bull sharks, washed up dead on the coast of South Africa. Scientists focused on the mass die-off event in 2021, which they were able to track in unusually precise detail, because one of affected creature that survived was a bull shark that had been satellite tagged. They found it had been caught in water that fell more than 10 degrees Celsius below the temperature that such tropical species were used to. The animals were fleeing high water temperatures from a marine heatwave gripping South Africa's coastal waters. But in their escape, they were caught in a sudden cold water upwelling from the region's Agulhas current, prompting ocean temperatures to plummet. These upwelling events that are happening on the Agulhas bank, the temperature can suddenly drop by about 10 degrees Celsius in 24 hours. It's a very, very intense, short-lived event. Scientists studied 41 years of sea surface temperature data and 33 years of wind records to assess cold water upwelling in the two regions affected by the Agulhas current and the Australian current. They conclude that stronger ocean currents and changes in wind patterns, both occurring with climate change, are driving an increase in both the frequency and intensity of cold water upwelling in both regions. Most marine life living near these currents is adapted to sudden fluctuations in water temperatures and so can cope with these changes. But the study warns that migratory species such as bull sharks, which pass through these waters and are unprepared for sharp shifts in temperature, are at risk. Bull sharks struggle to survive when water temperatures drop below 19 degrees Celsius for a sustained period. Researchers used data from 41 tagged bull sharks in southern Africa and Australia to study their migratory patterns. The sharks move to warmer tropical waters as soon as water temperatures start to drop after summer ends. During their migration, they appear to take steps to avoid cold water upwellings by moving to warmer surface waters when swimming through upwelling zones and taking refuge in estuaries and bays during their journey. But as upwelling events increase in frequency and intensity, it will become ever harder for bull sharks and other migratory species to avoid them. However, the impacts may be limited to the two regions studied. These two particular regions are quite special cases because the upwelling that occurs there are quite short, intense events. Other global upwelling systems are more permanent or seasonal fixtures, where marine species are better adapted to withstand or avoid changes in water temperature. To understand the broader trends behind the die-off, the scientists tagged other sharks and used 41 years of sea surface temperature data and 33 years of wind records to investigate the frequency and intensity of cold killer events inshore of the Indian Ocean's Agulhas current and the East Australian current in the past 30 years. Scientists found cold upwelling events had increased in frequency and intensity in these regions between 1981 and 2022. Other species killed in such events include whale sharks, convict surgeonfish, big-eyed trees, and common blacktip sharks. Tagged bull sharks appear to change their behavior to avoid sudden temperature drops by swimming closer to the surface, sheltering in bays and estuaries, and only moving to the extent of their poleward distribution during warm seasons. The marine biologists worked with oceanographers to map upwelling trends and forecast what could happen in the future as climate disruption becomes ever more pronounced and extreme cold upwellings increase in frequency along with periods of extreme surface heat. Within individual species, certain groups tend to live on the edge of their population range. There are pole sharks that run the gauntlet of a cool area to get to thermal refuges. Upwellings could kill off this unique genetic diversity. The need for a new approach to marine conservation that incorporated knowledge about the increasingly complex ways that climate chaos is affecting marine species. Scientists need to think about expanding conservation areas and prioritizing different species. They need to think out of the box. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed our videos, subscribe to our channel for there's more to come.